Welcome one, welcome all to the Tortillas and Takes podcast. You are on once again with your boy, Albie Shore. And life is good out here in West Texas, being a fan of a team out in West Texas. It's life is good, life is grand. A lot of other schools in the college football world are having problems as we come into the new week, right? Some schools are having to fire their coach. Some schools are seeing their coach leave off in a plane, stealing all the offensive assistants. Sounds very familiar to us. But as far as your Texas Tech football fan, no complaints. No complaints. And luckily for us, everybody thinks our coach sucks. So we'll just continue to keep him. We'll just continue to keep him. That's fine. Y'all keep thinking our coach sucks. That is okay. Before I introduce, the man, the myth, the legend, I do find it very funny that anybody who takes over a Power 4 conference team gives them the best 4-year stretch in school history, right? Has 4 straight years of winning in the conference, which they hadn't accomplished in over a decade prior, should be the number 1 coaching candidate for any SEC school. But everyone assumes he sucks, so he's not, which is fine by me. That's fine. Joey, let's just keep telling everybody you suck as a coach. That is okay. Mind you, and I've been very critical of Joey McGuire myself, but the proof is in the pudding. Man just wins. He's never been a loser. He's won literally everywhere. And the second he leaves, Baylor's ready to fire their coach, right? So just want to point that out there. He's literally won everywhere. But y'all keep thinking he sucks. That's fine by me. What's going on, People's Champ? That is Jeremy Gillen.
Hey man, you said it. You knocked it on the head. There's a lot going on in the football world. It's really exciting. It's really exciting not to be a part of it. Just kind of like sitting back. Hey, we're 11-1. We're going to the Big 12 championship. Nobody's going to watch everybody else flounder about, panic. Although in the case of Ole Miss, you wonder everything was paradise for them until it wasn't. Right now, their head coach is heading over to LSU, and there's some rumblings that are other good teams that are having head coaches kind of interview around and see what's open for them. So, got to feel good that Joey is perceivably a terrible big. He's only good because he's in the Big 12. He's only good because it's an easy schedule. He's only good because he's got money. Hey man, great. Keep it that way.
Yeah.
Stay away.
You got us.
You got us.
Matt Campbell becomes a coaching candidate every year because at Iowa State, he's gotten them to be decent. At the same time, remember Matt Campbell in 2020, he had a 9-3 season. It was his 5th year at Iowa State, and he had 4 straight 7-win seasons, culminating in the 9-3 season. And mind you, I agree. At Iowa State, that is a really good job by Matt Campbell, right? Before Matt Campbell got there, they were the second worst team in the Big 12. Well, unfortunately, Red Raider fans, before Joey McGuire got here, a lot of arguments could be made. We were the second worst team in the Big 12, program-wise, for the 10 years prior. And so, again, Matt Campbell has been a hot commodity coaching-wise since that 2020 season. And, yeah, you mean to tell me that Matt Campbell is up for the Penn State job or for all these other jobs, and they're all looking for him, but nobody wants McGuire? Fine. He sucks. He's perfect. I did see in LSU, they had his name floating around. Good for you, Joey. Look at you. Rumors about you to LSU. I'm so proud of you. Listen, next time K-State fans want to tell me that he sucks, yes, he does. Oh, man.
You have never been more right in your life.
He sucks. Man, yep. The guy that turned a quarterback from the University of Virginia into one of the greatest linebackers in college football history. He's legitimately having one of the greatest linebacking seasons in college football history. The guy that did that stinks. You're right. You can have it. I just find it funny. So, Jeremy, let's talk about Texas Tech mollywopping the West Virginia Mountaineers to a score of 49-0. I don't have too much to say about the game. I know typically with this game we go through a rundown of everything and how you felt and this, that, and the other. Just like the UCF game, we shut this stuff up immediately. 3 and out into a touchdown. Game is over. That's how this game works with this team. A 3 and out to start the game. You're already heavily favored. 3 and out to start the game. Quick touchdown in the first few minutes. The game is over. We're not even to the 10-minute mark in the first quarter, and the game is over. Everybody knows the game is over. If you're a Tech fan, you know the game is over. If you're a West Virginia fan, you know the game is over. The game is over right from that point. That's how this team is in general. And so, but a couple things. This is the worst West Virginia loss since the 1800s, I think is what the stat I saw, since like 1891, losing by 49 in this way.
Yeah, at home.
At home. Worst first road shutout in 20 years for Texas Tech. West Virginia, and it's funny because I put this tweet out that what's fun? I actually thought West Virginia's defense played better than I thought they would. That's the crazy part. I was like, you know what? Y'all are making plays. Rich Rod even talked about it at halftime. He was like, our defense is getting to third and long situations. One thing he failed to say at halftime, though, is though the defense is getting the Texas Tech third and long situations, we have Jacoby Williams and Cam Dickey.
Yes.
And
Terrence Carter Jr. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
and Caleb Douglas.
And Caleb, like, there's no such thing as a third and long when you got these guys. There's no such thing. Like off a draw play. Like, hey, oh man, 3rd and 15. Whatever shall we do? Draw play. All right. There we go. Now, obviously, we probably should nip that in the bud before we play BYU, before we get into the college football playoff. Try not to get these third and long situations. But when you got those guys, ain't no such thing. Ain't no such thing. You're going to be there. But what are your general thoughts about this crazy game?
The surprise for me was keeping West Virginia scoreless at home. I had a lot more. I mean, not that, and this is one of those things where I'm not going to now turn around and say Scotty Fox Jr. is a terrible quarterback just because he lost to Texas Tech. Because here's the thing: Texas Tech is the premier defense, right?
I will say it. A lot of West Virginia fans were. I was actually very surprised to see the tide turn on Scotty Fox Jr. so quickly from the West Virginia side.
Well, you got to look at it from their angle where, he's kind of rising up. And we talked about it in the preview, he's rising up to be this next, like this established quarterback going forward for West Virginia. And he's a great quarterback. He's been looking good both in the air and on the ground. And all of a sudden you play Texas Tech, who in their memory, in everybody's memory, it's like Texas Tech's defense, not great. Even if I see it on paper that it's great, I don't believe it. I got to see it in person. But then I see it in person, and I can't fathom that. So therefore, my team sucks. I just think Scotty Fox Jr. did his absolute best that he could against a defense that was really locked in for this game. And I think that's something else everybody else is overlooking is that, this team. McGuire made no bones about it in the presser earlier this week. He's like, we don't care about the championship game. We don't care about the playoff game. The West Virginia is the most important game of the season. And they really played like it. I mean, they absolutely played like that. And so to keep West Virginia off the board completely, to have a shutout, incredible. Just an incredible job by this defense. I will say the one nagging thing for me offensively with the ones was, sometimes our offensive line looks like melted butter. Boy, they got worked quite a few reps. They were getting worked in that second quarter.
Yeah, that's good. And that's where I think I led to saying that I thought the West Virginia defense was doing well. Their D-line, I agree. I think their D-line got into the backfield a few times, was able to make life not as comfortable as you would think it would be. And it's funny, I actually thought they played better. The West Virginia D-line played better than the UCF D-line, which UCF actually is supposed to be a better D-line. I'll give credit where it's due to that point. And maybe it is, I don't know if maybe the technical line thought it'd be an easy game, which, let's face it still was an easy game. It still was a 49-0 shellacking. If it wasn't for, it would have been 35-0 at halftime if it wasn't for us trying to get a Heisman touchdown pass in there.
Buddy. I like the move. I like it. If we're gonna go for it, man. Just go for it. Fall head first. Do what you can.
I do like. So I will say though, after watching that, I'm like, you sure you were a quarterback in Virginia?
That's exactly right, buddy. That is exactly why Joey was trying to recruit a linebacker at Baylor. He's like, you know what you could play?
Yeah.
You're kind of big. You're a big kid. You know what you should do?
It's fine. Because what's funny? I rewatched that play. I'm like, dude, you had a wide open Douglas right there. You picked the 100%. Wrong person. Douglas is wide open. booty butt naked open. Like he is right there. So why'd you pick the covered Carter? You know, so
he really wanted the Heisman tape. He wanted to show I can dump it right over the defender. He wanted the and now he's still less interceptions than anybody else in the Heisman running. So I think he's doing pretty good.
Yes, that's true. That's true. Oh wow. So what's funny about this game and about Jacob Rodriguez is so this was a game from Jacob Rodriguez that I was like, Jacob, you didn't wow us. You didn't do anything Heisman worthy. There were no touchdowns. What did you even do, Jacob Rodriguez? What, a tackle for loss? 4 tackles? In one half, because mind you, he was out at halftime again.
Yeah, correct.
So it's funny because like what would be most players like great game is just his meh. They had the office. Handshakes all around.
At the office.
Same thing for David Bailey. Like what? No sacks, no TFLs, just like quality play. Man, what's going on here? What y'all doing? I will say Lee Hunter had a great game. Really disrupting the middle. We talked about it before. A team like this, the best way to disrupt the Rich Rod offense is right up the middle. And Lee Hunter was, and Romello Height, who I don't know if y'all noticed, though he plays the edge, I thought did a really good job of working the inside. Both his TFLs, he actually hit the B gap right there, playing the 4 technique, worked the B gap, and was able to get that tackle in the backfield both times. Right. Also did a really good job of controlling the edge. And I will say, this may be an unpopular opinion. I actually think Romello Height is better at setting the edge than David Bailey is. When it comes to getting after the quarterback, I don't think there's anybody in the country better than David Bailey. But as far as setting the edge, especially in the run game, I think Romello Height, especially with the strength, his ability is really good in that aspect. And I think it showed here today there with him. And then, of course, Lee Hunter working up the middle there. So defense holding a shutout. Second shutout of the season. Last time Texas Tech had multiple shutouts in one year was the year 2000, where Tech had 3 shutouts against Oklahoma State. Again, they shut out Baylor and they shut out the Raging Cajuns of Louisiana. So back in 2000. But, I mean, this defense is, once again, absolutely incredible. And not just incredible in that aspect, but they are continuing to extend their lead as far as the best defense in the country. This is from the regular season, now the regular season's over. Statistically, this is when it comes to points scored, the greatest defense in Big 12 history. They're the only defense in Big 12 history to hold their opponent to less than 100 points throughout the season. The only team that came close was the heralded Nebraska defense of 2009 with Ndamukong Suh, who held to 105 points in the Big 12 season. So Texas Tech a little under 100 points in the Big 12 season. Gotta feel. And then also, and not to mention, we talked about it before, but like a lot of these games are ones were taken out. So
yeah.
Just imagine how great it would have been with that. So, yeah.
So do we still own after Oklahoma State? I'd love to see if we still own the top and the bottom, if we've sandwiched the defensive spectrum, because we had historically the worst defense in the country. What is it, 2016, 20, whatever. Now we've had historically the best defense in the Big 12. So it's like, I wonder if we get to be the sandwich, both top and bottom. We do it all here at Texas Tech University. Maybe Oklahoma State didn't want to give us that glory, so they just tanked the season on purpose.
Oh, you guys, as far as all time?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
That is a very good question. God, I hope we didn't have a worse defense than – well, you know what's funny, though, with Oklahoma State? I actually do think Texas Tech had a worse defense than Oklahoma State this year because for a couple reasons. One, Oklahoma State took a lot of L's this year. But because it was such blowouts, teams weren't on their neck throughout the whole game. The most they gave up this year, they gave up 69 to Oregon. But then other than that, they only gave up 49 to Cincinnati. So, like, for Tech, if you remember back in those days, we were also scoring so much and so quickly that we were losing games in the 50s and 60s frequently. So, so it's almost like Oklahoma State's offense is so bad that it makes the defense isn't an all-time terrible – defense. Team slowed down. Like, think about when we beat them. We beat them 42-0. Imagine if the Oklahoma State offense had scored 6 touchdowns too. We would have had to score 10. You know what I mean?
That's right.
To be up. Yeah. So our offense being great in the Mahomes years led to the defense statistically being horrendous. So unfortunately, I do think we're still going to sandwich top and bottom. All right, best defense in Big 12 history.
Yeah. There's marketing. There's a good opportunity for some cool marketing there.
There's not good opportunity.
There's a fun slogan that we could be using or something.
No, absolutely. Hey guys, we were
started
really
from the bottom. Now we're here. Literally. Oh man. Somebody more savvy and smarter than us. Go out and make some cool merch about it. Make a fortune, then donate to the pod so we can keep running.
Absolutely. So some stats here. Baron Morton, 25-32, 310 yards, 3 touchdowns. Y'all gonna miss Baron Morton when he's gone. I finally saw somebody tweet about this, if Baron Morton does the unthinkable.
Yeah, does he become the
greatest quarterback of all time?
For Texas Tech.
Because here's the thing with Tech is we have a big 3, and there's a huge gap after number 3, right? We have Cliff Kingsbury, Graham Harrell, Patrick Mahomes. That's the 3 best quarterbacks of all time. Now, I think there's debate about who's the best out of the 3. I think a lot of people say Pat. I am on the Graham Harrell train as the greatest quarterback of all time. But it's definitely them 3. Numbers. Yeah, but it's definitely them 3, right? But, I feel like Baron Morton is falling into the Seth Dagey category of, like, great quarterback that we're just going to forget and is going to be underrated. But, like, let's face it. I mean, Baron is because just like Seth Dagey, he doesn't wow us. He doesn't do anything crazy or incredible like the other 3 did. But he's just steady, man. I've always loved Baron because he don't make mistakes and he's just steady. He don't need to wow us, but he about to lead us. So shout out to Baron Morton there.
And to say one more thing about that, Baron Morton may be a Seth Dagey character, but he's got a Graham Harrell defense. So he's able to go out and achieve more. And so like what Graham Harrell didn't have is that Graham Harrell didn't have like the college football playoffs to get into, right? So one rough loss is going to kick you out of any national title contention. But now you have the benefit of like the playoff era where we can get into this funnel of, can we truly be the best team that we can be in the nation? But more importantly, the Big 12 championship. If Baron goes out this Saturday, gets a Big 12 title, then he's the only one of the bunch who's at a Big 12 conference championship. And so that's a huge point.
Yeah, that's huge.
It's like, hey, he may not have the numbers, but success-wise, dude, that's huge for Texas Tech. And if he gets that, especially, and to have kind of this, and we're talking about, the characters that make up this team and the development and the people who've been here from the beginning. Like Baron Morton's been, the Texas Tech Red Raider fan since he was been a kid. And so like to get to the point where, through all the struggle, through all of the difficult, through all the coaching changes, through all the injury, through all of the crappy deep, like he's gotten through a lot to get to this point and has got to feel really satisfying to go out on Saturday. And it's like, dude, you have an opportunity here. In my mind, it's like, you've already that's a huge success for Texas Tech. Showing up is a success. You have a massive opportunity to take that next step and to get us something that we've never gotten fully on our own and to be elevated above the rest of the Big 12. I don't care what anybody says ever down year or whatever people try to like frame it as. Like, dude, you got the trophy and that's all that matters. It's huge opportunity for him. It's got to feel good.
Are people stating this is a down year for the Big 12?
I am out here trying to get ahead of the like those people who always have like the memes ready of like, say the line. It's like, oh, it's, whatever about Texas. If you lose to Texas Tech, it's always something X, Y, or Z, right? I'm just trying to get ahead of it where it's like, oh, if Texas Tech wins the Big 12, they're just going to say, a lot of people will be like, well, it was a down year.
Well, compared to last year, this is like the Big 12 is immensely improved. Yeah, immensely. It's
a strong year.
Last year, when people were talking down about the Big 12, I kind of stayed quiet because I was like,
yeah,
we do kind of.
But this year, dude, you got some strong players up there. So it's like,
for sure. So Graham Harrell, really good game this game. Cam Dickey, 12 carries for 79 yards.
Baron Morton is actually playing, but
Baron Harrell, Graham Morton. Cam Dickey, 12 carries, 79 yards in this one. Jacoby Williams, again, 15 carries, 60 yards and a touchdown. Lightning and Thunder and Lightning. Sorry, both of them playing really great. I'm having a good game in this one. Jacob Rodriguez did actually get a touchdown in this one with his shameless touchdown run there earlier. Caleb Douglas, great game. Reggie Virgil had an incredible senior day against UCF, and then now it's like, all right, Caleb Douglas like it's my turn. Great game in this one. 5 catches, 127 yards, 2 touchdowns. We're going to see him on Sundays, man. The ability that CD has is great. Terrence Carter, 10 catches for 98 yards. Micah Hudson.
Hello.
Welcome. 2 catches, 45 yards, 2 touchdowns from Lloyd Jones there later in the game. Lloyd Jones from the Galveston County, Texas, Hitchcock stand-up. Really great to see Lloyd Jones in this game. Being the 5th quarterback to play snaps for
How'd you really feel about his play, though?
I thought it was good.
Everybody noticed how Albert's pitch went way up when he was talking about Lloyd Jones.
He was
good. It was good.
I just don't have anything to expect from it. You know what I mean? It didn't throw any interceptions, led the team down to 2 touchdowns. I didn't have really an opinion. It's now do I want him to be the new starting quarterback of the Texas Tech Red Raiders? Absolutely not. But I'll say this: I thought he looked a lot better than when I saw Holden Phillips. I thought he looked a lot better. So when it comes to who is the better 4th string quarterback, give me Lloyd Jones.
So with Mitch Griffiths being up in the air, it's interesting to we got to see what kind of injury he had when he went out of the game. But
so I was gonna save that a little bit for later, but let's talk about this. So Mitch Griffiths does go out, and it's gonna be a big question of what it is. I was tweeted the other day that it looked like a Liz Frank foot injury, which God I hope not. That is, if it is a Liz Frank, that is extensive healing depending on the severity of it. Definitely out for the rest of this, which would mean that either Lloyd Jones or Holden Phillips is the backup going into the title game in CFP.
Do you want to explain what a Liz Frank injury is for all of us who don't spend our nights watching ER, drinking Chardonnay in our bath?
So it's a foot injury. So it's a severe sprain of the foot. It's a hairline sprain as well. And so basically it is one that is going to keep, a mild sprain so actually I'm gonna take a step back. So basically with the Liz Frank injury, it's a traumatic event to your foot. It's a compound injury that basically causes some of your ligaments in your foot to sprain, some of the joints to sprain, and really to connect and damage itself. And so it really damages your foot overall, and it's hard for you to be able to play on it. Even a minor Liz Frank is taking you out for about a month or plus. Most Liz Frank injuries takes you out for quite a while. If you get this injury at the beginning of the year, it's gonna take you out for about a month. It's gonna linger for the rest of the year, right? If this is the type of injury that could potentially cause Mitch Griffiths to miss the spring.
Yeah.
Right. So, and mind you, you're looking at Griffiths, you were like, okay, well, you were thinking he'd be the backup for the team next year. So now, depending on the severity of it, if it is a Liz Frank, now are we looking for 2 quarterbacks in the portal, right? Not just one. So that was a question of whether that might be it. I thought it was an ankle sprain when I first saw it. I was thinking whether it was lower or high ankle. A high ankle sprain is another one it's not an easy one to come with. The way he was hobbling off, though, regardless, we'll find out what it is. We'll see what the x-rays say. I don't see him playing or being the backup against BYU. The question is whether he'll be available for the CFP, I think, in my opinion. Which sucks. That sucks because, as we all know, Barron never gets hurt. So
yeah.
So maybe that leads to your Lloyd Jones question a little bit more if he is the backup going into the Big 12 championship game. But yeah, it's
his throws weren't crazy crisp. Running, he talk about a running quarterback though. He runs downhill hard for sure. So that looked pretty good. Good size on him though. I think he integrated pretty well into the offense. And obviously likes Micah Hudson, and Micah Hudson was, feeding it back. So
that's smart. Hey, listen, if you were a young quarterback, as a
He
true
said,
freshman
"How do I make
quarterback,
myself look the best? Let me pass it to the 5-star."
you know what's funny? As a Texans fan, Davis Mills came in relief. And you know what Davis Mills said? Where's Nico Collins? Where's my best player? Double covered? Doesn't matter. Throw it.
It was the Johnny Manziel to, oh, God, what was that guy's name? Tight end.
Oh, Mike Evans.
Mike
No,
Evans. It was
Mike
the
Evans.
Manziel was like,
Yeah.
where's Mike Evans? He's probably down there.
Mike Evans, also from Galveston County, Texas.
Hey, maybe we got something going here.
Hey, I'm just
The
saying.
pipeline.
If you listen to Jameis Winston, he has a whole speech about players from the water. That's how he sees it. You know, some about them players from the water. You know. Anyways,
that's crazy. That was a good impression, actually.
Oh, thank you. So that was the offense. Defensively, like I said, David Bailey, 4 tackles. Jaden Cofield coming off also had a pretty good game in relief. Jacob Rodriguez, 4 tackles and a TFL himself. Lee Hunter, half a sack, 3 TFLs, 3 tackles. I talked about Romello Height before. He had 2 sacks and 2 TFLs as well. So Bryce Pollock, should have had 2 interceptions. One of them got called back, but he said, "I'm gonna get this one." And then Amir Boyd almost ran one back, which would have been great as well. Amir Boyd, he had some issues, but this was definitely, I think, seeing that interception, I felt like was like a full circle moment for him, right? After all the issues that he had with some of the off the field stuff, some of the issues he had on the field as well, really full circle for him getting that interception overall. And so
Bryce Pollock tied for 3rd in the nation for interceptions on the season, by the way.
The first in the Big 12, 3rd overall, and just unsung. Just kind of comes in, and I've been somewhat critical of Pollock. You know, some of he's not necessarily a lockdown corner, right? You can throw his way, but throw his way, you might get the completion, but you also might get intercepted because he is a ball hawk.
Well, and I want to say they pointed that out on the broadcast, a la, Jacob Rodriguez talking about how he gets to play so free and so fun. That this defense just believes that everybody is going to do their job, and so it allows them to make more risky plays that usually have paid off in our favor, right? And so for a character, you put yourself in the the shoes of like Bryce Pollock. He's running out on coverage, and if he's in the flat, maybe not like so deep, but he's coming up on a hook play or something like that. He feels a lot more free to like make a play on the ball, rather than the player. And that's what's like led him to get a lot of interceptions, because in his mind, in the mind of other defensive players on the team, it's like, if I miss this, like there will likely be another player on the play. Like there's going to be one of our guys on the actual player, so somebody will make the tackle. And so this defensive psyche that everybody's kind of been able to buy into, of like everybody's doing their job. So if I take a risk, I don't have to feel like is going to break off for an 80-yard touchdown. And so there's a lot less cautionary tale there. It's more like, I want to make a defensive play for my team. And so it's allowed this team to really, I think, explode in a lot of really positive ways and become like this turnover machine that Joey McGuire has wanted since he came on. Remember, take 3. Hey, take 3, take 3. Well, take 3 has looked a lot better this season. And a lot of it does come from, Shield Wood's defensive, psyche and this team buying in.
Yeah. Yeah. So Shield Wood, a semifinalist for the Broyles Award for top assistant coach, well deserved for sure. Quick aside before we close this game, we were talking before about how some West Virginia fans have turned on Scotty Fox Jr. Let me tell you something, guys. I saw your other 2 quarterbacks, Khalil Wilkins and Max Brown. Lord Jesus, both of them boys combined went 2 for 8. And should have been Max Brown should have thrown 2 interceptions. One of them did get called back. Khalil Wilkins wasn't much better. I saw them both of them try to throw deep balls. My God.
You got to roll with the Scotty Fox.
A part of me was like, bro, just put Scotty Fox back out there because this is bad. All right. But overall, 4-8 on the season for West Virginia in Rich Rod's first year. I think there were some things that they can hang their hat on. I did see some things that Rich Rod had his first go. Big where they had a really big improvement going into year 2. So I think that's what they're hoping for. But I think you have to feel some bit of optimism if you're a West Virginia fan. I know some West Virginia fans were also upset about us doing a fake punt, us passing, stuff like that. I get it. I get being upset about that. I'm not gonna act like they don't have a right to feel upset about that. Two things. One, when you're down 35-0 at the beginning of the third quarter, it's a scrimmage. It is a scrimmage from that point.
Yeah.
Texas Tech is just trying to put things on tape for BYU and some other teams to see. We're just trying to work some kinks out. That fake punt, for example, it is a swinging door. They're taught when you see a certain package from the defense to do it. And I'm actually glad we actually got a chance to do it, to see what it looks like and see what we're able to do. All right? That's all that is. I'm sorry, West Virginia fans, that you just had to come to the end of it, but it's a scrimmage at that point. That's all it was. Some West Virginia fans were smart enough to realize, hey, man, we were getting our butts kicked in as a scrimmage. That's one thing.
Yeah.
Two things. My motto, stop it. If you don't like it, stop it. These are backups that are in there. This is Lloyd Jones' first 5 passes of his entire career at 18 years old. If you can't stop that, I'm sorry. That's y'all. Okay? Yeah. Come on, guys. So there's that. So let's talk about something else around the college football landscape, first starting with the Big 12. On Friday, we knew what was about to happen. We knew Texas Tech and BYU were the Big 12 championship game because Arizona, the Wildcats, your team,
that's right,
did what they were supposed to. It was actually a pretty close game. Like the score, Arizona wins this game 23-7. But Arizona State, I like Kenny Dillingham and how he's coached the Arizona State team. I really like what Jeff Sims was able to put on tape. If he's the starting quarterback for Arizona State next year, I don't think that's a bad thing. I really don't think that's a bad thing. I think he showed improvement, especially as he started. But Arizona State, like, regardless, was the better team throughout, winning this game 23-7.
Absolutely. I think, and one of the things that I was trying to key in on was like, oh, Noah Fafita will be the difference maker in this game. And that wasn't necessarily, he had some huge passes, but like that wasn't necessarily the game changer. I think Arizona as a team late, because like you said, this game was really close. I mean, Arizona State was leading well at halftime. And then coming into the second half, you felt like Arizona State kind of had the momentum, right? Being at home, it was going to be easy. Arizona, being able to play a complete game in the second half, 20 points in the second half alone. I mean, just elevated. They just said, you know what? We've been here before, right? All season long. Arizona's second half has been like, how do we get over the hump? And they said, you know what the best way to get over the hump is? Let's just continue to barrage this team down the field. Huge downfield passes for Arizona, keeping drives alive, making big plays when it mattered, getting an interception late. I mean, it was just curtains for Arizona State at a certain point. So I could not be, it's going to be a quote unquote like a small upset because Arizona State was ranked ahead. I think Arizona well enough should have been, if you should flip the rankings because this is a really good team. And so I'm really impressed. 9-win season for Arizona, going to get a pretty good bowl here. And hopefully they win that to get a 10-win season, but impressive, like an impressive stake for a team that, at the beginning of the season, really, I think we've written off Arizona from the beginning. Like, hey, basketball school, they're trying with football. No, I think that they really bought in. I think that they're trying to put all the pieces together and make it work. And it does come from Noah Fafita and all that. So good job. And then good job, good effort, Arizona State Sun Devils. But like you said, if they run out Jeff Sims next season, that's probably going to be the best. He's stepped up in a huge way in the absence of Levitt. I think that, run with Raleek Brown. I think he's got another year and see where it goes.
Yeah. Utah did all that talking just to be in a dogfight with Kansas. They were losing at the beginning of the fourth quarter. They did use that fourth quarter to rattle off 3 touchdowns there, but they were in a dogfight with them. And actually at one point with Kansas scored with 5 minutes to go in the game, only down by 3 points. And it looked like it may actually be an issue there, right? Like Kansas almost upset Utah in a way that was really going to make all of their fans eat crow. But what it did do, I think, here's the thing. I think that loss, not only did it make Utah fans kind of eat crow, that loss, I think, that quote-unquote win sealed Utah's fate when it comes to at-large chances for the CFP. If you're the committee, how do you let Utah in at this point? It's already a tough hill to climb. You're not going to the Big 12 championship game to prove yourself anymore. I think that sealed their fate. Utah, welcome to the Alamo Bowl or the Las Vegas Bowl. Like that's where I look at Utah now. I don't see it.
If Kansas was any different, like if they had the season everybody was expecting them to have, then you can have an argument there. But no, yeah, you were losing to Kansas at the beginning of the fourth quarter. It took an incredible amount of play, and more importantly, it took 2 turnovers from Kansas to give you an opportunity to put that game away. So yeah, good try, good effort.
Good try, good effort. Houston was blowing Baylor out, and then let Baylor come all the way back and still lost. And Baylor still lost. So Houston's still able to come up with a win right at the end, just made their fans have more of a heart attack. But a 9-win season for the Houston Cougs, likely also a candidate for the Alamo Bowl, maybe the Texas Bowl. I likely think what's going to happen, Jeremy, is the same thing that happened to us last year where we were candidates for the Pop-Tarts Bowl, but then our administration was like, yeah, but Texas Bowl's better. I think that likely is going to happen to U of H this year. But either way, I mean, dude, like that's a great season for the Cougs. And let me tell you something. Baylor fans, a coach on the hot seat, even if you're going to retain him, you should probably wait until after the season to tell everyone he's retained. Because ever since the announcement that Dave Aranda is coming back, Baylor loses 2 more games. They are now losing recruits like crazy. They had like 3 4-star recruits decommit yesterday. I don't know if you saw that, but like,
oh yeah,
you got the Locked On Baylor host crashing out. Like it is bad in Waco right now. And once again, Sawyer Robertson having to do everything by himself, and it wasn't enough.
46
good win,
passes,
Houston.
Man.
Yeah, good win, Houston. Bad loss, Baylor.
Save us, Sawyer Robertson. And he was like, "I'm trying. I am trying." Yeah, Ken, what do you say? Not talk to your kids about a 9-win Houston Cougars football team. I mean, they were confident in themselves. I give them that.
Talk to the residents of Houston because they still don't know. Stadium is still empty.
Damn.
Now BYU almost suffered the same fate of their Utah buddies because they also were laying an egg against UCF. UCF also had an early game lead. The BYU was able to shut a lot of it down there in the third quarter, right? But yeah, I kind of catapulted with a touchdown to start the second half, and then a punt return touchdown, and then another touchdown late in the third quarter. So 21 points in that third quarter to really run away with it. But come on, guys, y'all can't. If y'all trying again, same thing. Y'all trying to get an at-large bid, you cannot be in a dogfight with UCF overall. Luckily, if anyone didn't watch the game, they're going to see that final score and say, okay, well, BYU handled business. But yeah, overall, UCF, I think, feels the same way as West Virginia. Not a bad first year under Scott Frost. Unfortunately, did not get to a bowl game. But, I think there's some optimism from the Golden Knights fans as well.
Yeah, I mean, what do you say? I think that UCF came out strong. Again, teams that want to be bowl eligible always will play better. But talent will win the day. And I think BYU just kind of woke up in the second quarter. It was like, yeah, shoot, we need to, are we trying to get into the college football playoff or not? And I think that, if you look at things, the body of work, yes, but also if you're going to say that there's a Big 12 bias, like an anti-Big 12 bias, then they're going to look at games like this and go, I mean, you're struggling against UCF at the beginning. Like, you have to be careful about that kind of stuff. But BYU, good on you. I think Bear Bachmeier had a really good game as well. Very efficient down the way, and just put away a team that they should put away. So good job, Mormons.
All right, quick rapid fire here with the last 3 games. Games that honestly didn't matter very much. Kansas State gets bowl eligible, beating Colorado at home in a wintry blizzard. Iowa State, close win at Oklahoma State. Listen, Oklahoma State just hired. They made a good hire. Really upsets me. I would argue the only good hire so far of the cycle, because I'm sorry, and we're going to talk about something in a second, but I'm sorry. Lane Kiffin just made a bad choice. I don't think it's necessarily a bad hire by LSU, but Lane, dude.
Yes.
But anyways, yeah, but a really good hire for Oklahoma State, hiring Eric Morris from North Texas. And, last 3 games, Oklahoma State did not embarrass themselves. And so that's much you can say for them. So Iowa State will close win on the road, 20-13. No crying coach this time. Matt Campbell stood up there on the podium like a man. And then TCU blowing out Cincinnati at home. Cincinnati, man, at one point you were 7-1, and then just let it all come.
Had a real
down.
Texas Tech moment.
Yep. And TCU with a big win there. This is a game again. TCU had held control the entire time. So
TCU had a very quiet season to have 8 wins.
Yeah, they did. And here's the thing, though, TCU. This is your future. I don't think Sonny Dykes is a bad enough coach to have y'all in hell, but I don't know if he's a good enough coach to have y'all winning. I think y'all are going to have a lot more seasons like this. 8-4, 7-5, maybe 9-3 here and there. And this is going to be your future. And he's going to continuously be not good. I don't think he's going to be good enough to have y'all going back to the Rose Bowl like you're used to. But he's never going to be bad enough to fire. So, like his dad. Spike. Like his dad.
Fall from the tree.
That's right. So that leads us to Texas Tech at BYU and AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. We will have, Jeremy, we're going to have a preview pod for the Big 12 championship game. Isn't that crazy?
That's right, baby.
So that'll be amazing this year. Standings in the Big 12. Utah does finish third, likely out of the at-large. Sorry, Utes. Your prize is likely a trip to San Antonio. I think
great city. Go have some Mexican food. I
think most likely for San Antonio, for Alamo Bowl, it'll either be Utah playing. If BYU gets in the Big 12 into the CFP, it'll be Utah playing Houston, which would be very interesting. Right? They did not play each other in the regular season, and that's just how the cookie crumbles with this whole Pac-12 tie-in thing. Or if BYU does not make the CFP, it'll be BYU versus USC. I think will be the matchup. I think it'll be one of those two matchups. So we'll see what happens there. And then at 6-3, we had Houston and Arizona State, all 6-3 there. Iowa State, Kansas State, TCU, Cincinnati, all 5-4 in conference. And then the losers, Baylor and Kansas at 3-6 in conference, UCF and West Virginia 2-7 in conference, Colorado 1-8, and then Oklahoma State, arguably the worst power conference school in the country. So before we get up out of here, because I know we have limited time here, Lane Kiffin. A lot of coaching carousel happened over the weekend, and it all kicked off with Lane Kiffin deciding to leave Ole Miss for LSU. I know if you're a Mississippi State fan, if you're an Arkansas fan, if you're an LSU fan, if you're an Alabama fan, you just want to point and laugh at Ole Miss and call them a stepping stone program and all sort of stuff. And I know that's fun to do, but and sure, whatever. But Lane Kiffin, man, people forget what Lane Kiffin was before. He got the Raiders job virtually out of nowhere and sucked at it. He gets the Tennessee job, and 1 year at Tennessee where it looked like, he might actually be really good at this, says, screw all you Vols, and I'm going for my quote-unquote dream job at USC, right? And some people, myself included, will say, well, man, that's his dream job. Like, I get it. It really is a crappy situation with his dream job. But he really burned the bridge at Tennessee. Right? Yeah. Goes to USC, sucks at it. And his reputation is in the toilet. Nobody wants to hire him. He gets hired by Nick Saban. Nick Saban repairs his reputation. But what Nick Saban assistant coach do you know, Jeremy, that can't get a job at a Power 4 school as a coordinator?
That's right.
He couldn't. He helped him win national championships, and he couldn't, right? Not only could he not, when he finally accepted the Florida Atlantic job, Nick Saban thought he was so distracted by it that he ended up relieving him of his duties before national championship, right? And then so he has to build that reputation back up at Florida Atlantic, gets hired on at Ole Miss, and has done a pretty good job at Ole Miss. But that's the school that gave you your reputation back. So to do this again, it almost is like, well, people don't change. This is how they are. This is how they're always going to be. And Lane, man, I don't know. I do think he's a good coach, but I don't know how you can believe anything this guy says at this point. Like, this is, I kept a prediction that he was going to stay at Ole Miss, not because I thought he necessarily would, but more because I'm like, how you can't do this again, man. Like, and for what? An LSU program that's like Brian Kelly wasn't bad at LSU. I know we like to point and make fun of Brian Kelly. Like he just wasn't a championship level team at LSU, and that's what's required at LSU. So what happens, Mr. Kiffin, and you go 9-3 at LSU every year? That's right. You can't have the same record you had at Ole Miss at LSU.
It's a very Chris Beard coded scenario.
Yeah. And you're burning all these bridges. You want to still coach the team? Who the hell do you think you are? And you're going to an Ole Miss rival. That's another thing. Ole Miss and LSU are rivals.
Yeah.
Like, it's very
foolish decision. Yeah, a foolish decision. And if we learn anything from that scenario, like, Chris Beard fizzled out at Texas pretty quickly and
Yep.
had to jump to Ole Miss. So what do you do?
So it's just a bad decision if you ask me. But other coaching hires, John Summerall from USF going to Florida, or from Tulane going to Florida. Golesh from USF is going to Auburn. Florida, it just feels like you're making the same hire that you did before. And Auburn, I don't know who else you were going to get.
Good job, Auburn. You did your best.
You did your best. Good job there.
And you kept the Iron Bowl close anyway, so Auburn's got to feel pretty okay.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, they almost won it, and I really wanted they Auburn themselves at the end there. But and then last but there is, and so we're going to find out where Penn State hires. We're going to find out.
Find out.
I'm hearing rumors.
There are rumors out there.
There's rumors out there.
We're
going to find out. Exactly. So, Jeremy, anything else you want to say to the people?
Yeah, I got a few more minutes here. Playoff rankings, because I was going to say it. I mean, there's no alluding to it because we'll find out tomorrow when they publish it. But the world where Texas Tech jumps into the 3 spot is not as far off as you might think. That's all I'm going to say. But I think Texas Tech ends up with the bye week. And kind of hate that because I wanted to go to the home game. I saved for the home game. But now I can spend all that money on booze and stuff at home when I just watch us play the first round bye. Anyways, playoffs are going to get a little shook up here. And I'm really interested to see how the committee navigates BYU, Miami, Vanderbilt, right? Because Vanderbilt, 14th right now. But, how do they weigh that, now that they're 10-2 now? It's how do they weigh these 2-loss teams? Spoiler alert: Texas will not get in. If they get in, the whole thing's bumped. But yeah, also Ole Miss. What do you do with a team that their head coach and 4 of their more prominent offensive staff leave? What do you do? Right? Do you keep that team in there? Oh man, we're gonna find out. There's gonna be so much interesting stuff going on.
Yeah, I'm very curious what the rankings show because Notre Dame, I continue, and I was somebody that understood why Notre Dame was ranked as high as they were at the beginning of the year, but it's hard for me to believe that Notre Dame deserves a spot. And they lost to Miami, a team if Notre Dame and Miami are both in the running, how do you let that happen, right? They lost to Miami. So I think that's an interesting one. There's basically 6 schools fighting for 2 spots. You mentioned BYU, Utah, Miami, Notre Couple Alabama. I do think everybody above them, Oklahoma and above, is in. Even with Ole Miss and the whole coaching situation, I think they're in. I think they're going to take a couple steps down, right? Instead of hosting a playoff spot, they're probably going to be on the road for it now. But I still think they're in. I think Oklahoma's in. I think Texas Tech, no matter what happens in the Big 12 championship game, is in. I think Georgia, no matter what happens in the SEC championship game, is in. But those 2 spots, and what's funny? BYU and Alabama can take those last 2 spots just by winning. And I don't have a problem if the committee says, "Hey, you two, Alabama, BYU, you want in the playoff, you got to win. If you don't win, we're not putting you in." I don't have a problem doing that, but I do think it kind of sets a bad precedent when it comes to
because then when you put somebody over them, that's exactly right.
Yeah,
that's exactly right. So yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be interesting.
Yeah. It's gonna be very interesting.
Red Raiders, we don't have to care because we're in either way. So we either get a bye week or we get to host a college football playoff game. So we have won.
That's right. That's right. A couple other coaching ones I missed before we get out of here. Michigan State did fire Jonathan Smith and hired Pat Fitzgerald, old Northwestern coach. Interesting. Didn't expect that one. Coastal Carolina did fire Tim Beck. They have not hired a new guy, so that's again interesting. Arkansas finally hired Ryan Silverfield from Memphis. Another one that I'm like, y'all really couldn't find anybody. That's yikes. And then last but not least, Mark Stoops from Kentucky getting fired as well. That one I did not expect. I thought they were going to give him another year, especially with this climate. Almost makes me believe, similar to the Michigan State firing, they have to have somebody ready to go. And
at this point, if you're firing somebody, you have somebody else in the pipeline, or you're an idiot.
Yeah. Or you can't lose 41-0 to Louisville.
Or you just needed that.
Yeah, that's a bad.
You just needed that.
That's you can do a lot of things at Kentucky. Losing 41-0 against Louisville is not one of them. So
that's right.
I did see Brett McMurphy actually pick Texas Tech to go to the national championship game. By the way,
which is crazy because Brett has always been the lowest on Texas Tech.
No,
until this last prediction. And all of a sudden he's like, you know what? All these rest of these teams suck.
he's a Cowboy.
How do you mean?
State Cowboy?
Oh, well, that checks out, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You look like an Okie State Cowboy. Look like a Sprinkles kid, Brett.
Oh. Hey, tell us how you really feel.
That's right.
You and Brett got beef?
I stopped looking at that guy's stuff just because of how much he's like disrespects Texas Tech without disrespecting Texas Tech.
Yeah. Without disrespecting Texas Tech?
Without saying it out loud. He's just always like, yeah, and then Texas Tech's down here. Or they're not even in this at all. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, you know what? Screw these guys.
That's right.
So yeah. Anyways, so that being said, Texas Tech does have a Big 12 championship game to get prepared for. I'm excited for it. I will say, for Red Raider fans, you just think that, hey, we whooped BYU once, we'll whoop them again. Not so fast, my friend. I will say this. I do not expect BYU's offense to get held to 7 points again. I think that they are going to be better. I will say I do think they're going to be better. Here's the flip. I also think our offense is going to be better. So we'll see. We'll see. But I don't think it's going to be the same game we saw before. It'll be different. The vibes will be different. It's not going to be all Texas Tech centered.
That's right.
So we'll see. But for Jeremy Gillen, this is your boy, I'll be sure, and you have been listening to the Tortillas and Takes podcast, part of the 1012 Network. As always, stay wrecked, people.